Hello, you're watching Eye on Africa. I'm Cyril Vanier. The attack in Mali's capital, Bamako, is now over. One assailant has been killed. 2 suspects were arrested after gunmen opened fire on a hotel used by European soldiers. In Benin, business mogul Patrice Talon wins the presidency, promising more jobs and a clean break from Boni Yayi's administration. From self-made man to head of state, our reporter in Cotonou will have more on the country's president-elect in just a moment. And uncertainty in Congo Brazzaville. The country is calm but tense as it awaits results from the first round of voting yesterday. The opposition is looking to end the reign of incumbent Denis Sassou Nguesso, who promised a swift victory. Earlier this evening, gunmen opened fire on the Assailant Nord-Sud Hotel in the center of Bamako, an establishment which serves as a base for the European Union military force in the country. 1 assailant was killed, 2 suspects were captured, no one in the building was injured. France 24 correspondent François Riouet has the very latest.
According to several sources, including the French consulate, who is sending text messages to its nationals in the capital, the attack is now finished. The attack has been repelled, and 1 assailant has been killed by the Czech soldiers who were from the force protection of this hotel. It was the headquarters of the European Union training mission in the capital, Bamako. So only militaries were staying there, and according to several sources from inside the hotel, there has been no wounded, no injured, no casualties amongst the EUTM staff who's staying there. But the Malian Defense and Security Forces quickly deployed in the area. They locked up the area, and they're now conducting search and sweep operation because at least 1 assailant is believed to be on the run in this very area of Assailant in the capital.
Journalist Louis Magloire-Camaillou is president of the African Information Club. He was recently in that hotel, and he says it's one of the safest in Bamako.
If we can suggest one word on security on that hotel, is one of the most safe here.
You've been to that hotel?
I've been living there sometimes. When I went to Mali, I was there 1 month ago, and it is very safe at the first view because it is not open on the street like the Radisson Blu. It is less open, but rooms are very far in the compound. So when you get in, you don't directly fall on the rooms. You have a certain
There's no immediate access to the guests in the hotel.
There is no immediate access, and you have people there protecting those who are inside. They check by the car. They verify with mirrors if you have anything. They check everything. So it is very safe inside. So it is very dangerous. It is very dangerous to face an attack there for those who are organizing the attack already, for the terrorists who get there.
Now, there's been no claim of responsibility for this attack yet, but it looks identical to recent attacks. The Radisson Blu Hotel in Bamako in November, a hotel in Ouagadougou in January, and the very latest one came only last week when gunmen opened fire on a beach in Ivory Coast, killing 19 people. All those attacks were claimed by Al-Qaeda's local branch, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. Moving on now, Benin once again proving it is a bastion of democracy in West Africa. The capital was calm this morning after results of the presidential election pointed to a clear victory of the country's foremost businessman, Patrice Talon. Here is Benin's president-elect.
The important things to do for me in the next few days are to deal with reforming the constitution and administrative reform. And soon we will have to deal with the national debt, which is staggering.
Our reporter Katerina Vitozzi in Cotonou, the capital of Benin, has the very latest from the election. She has the results, and she spoke to residents of the capital to find out what they expect from the new president.
Benin's Electoral Commission has confirmed that Patrice Talon is indeed the winner of Sunday's presidential race, and by quite some margin. He scored 65% of the vote nationwide. In comparison, his political opponent Lionel Zinzou scored just 34%. Patrice Talon polled particularly highly here in the south of the country a little earlier. I spoke to voters here in the commercial capital, Cotonou. I asked them what they wanted to see their new president achieve.
We need reforms. We've all noticed there's a lot of injustice in this country. There's a lot of job insecurity, poverty and hardship. Benin has gone backwards.
The challenge for him now is to find jobs for young people, for all the young people. Right now there are no jobs. The second thing is that we need to build new hospitals and new schools.
He must reform our administration. He must reform our institutions so that they are completely independent.
Benin's Constitutional Court still has to officially confirm the result of this presidential race, but it's expected that that will be a relatively simple process, given that the opposition Lionel Zinzou has publicly conceded defeat. Patrice Talon will then have to wait until the first week of April. It's then that the mandate of the outgoing president, Boni Yayi, comes to a close and that he will be sworn in as Benin's new president.
In Niger, there is little doubt as to the outcome of the vote after the second round of the presidential election. Incumbent President Mahamadou Issoufou is widely expected to be re-elected since his main rival was sentenced to jail before the campaign. The main opposition coalition is now attacking the president's credibility. While the Electoral Commission has announced a turnout of about 56%, the opposition says that their own tally puts the real number at 11%. Proof, they say, that voters rejected the poll. Now, official numbers suggest that Issoufou has secured a huge victory with more than 90% of the votes. Official results to be expected to be announced this week. We were speaking about Benin earlier, and while that country is proving its democratic credentials, Congo Brazzaville offers a stark contrast. Starting yesterday for the first round of presidential voting, authorities shut down all phone communications, internet, and SMS services. After 19 years in power, Denis Sassou Nguesso is looking to extend his rule. Nicolas Germain explains.
It's not easy to cover the election in Congo Brazzaville, where President Denis Sassou Nguesso has accumulated 32 years in power. A France 24 team was not given visas to cover voting day. And for the last 2 days, the government has shut down phone lines and the internet, citing security reasons. The foreign minister did not wish to answer our questions. And opposition leaders were not reachable because of the communications shutdown. Before the vote, they had said this election would not be credible or transparent. 5 of the main opposition leaders, including Guy Brice Parfait-Kolela and Jean-Marie Michel Mokoko, have signed a pact. They would support whoever among them comes first in the second round. The opposition says the president's policies have failed. Unemployment reaches 40% in this country, which is Africa's 4th biggest oil producer. President Sassou Nguesso, who's 72, said he would win in the first round. He said only he could guarantee peace and stability. The European Union had decided not to send any observers for this election. It said the conditions for a transparent and democratic poll had not been met.
And just before we wrap up this edition of Eye on Africa, let me remind you of our top story this hour. Another attack in Mali's capital, Bamako. Gunmen opened fire on the Azalai Nord-Sud Hotel in the center of the Malian capital. No one within the European training force that is present in the hotel was injured. There were no casualties there. One gunman was killed. Two suspects were captured and are now being interrogated. That's the very latest information. The attack now over in Bamako. And that's it for Eye on Africa. Do stay tuned. More news coming up with Mark Owen right after this.